On today's episode, Elite Week continues with Lindsay Webster.
This is the world's toughest podcast. Welcome to the world's toughest podcast, where we talk about any obstacle course race you'd like, as long as that's world's toughest mudder. Each week we talk to members of the WTM community and share stories of success and failure in the single greatest event in OCR. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the world's toughest podcast.
World's Toughest Mudder weekend is here. If you are running World's Toughest 2017, you're either already here or you are on your way here. Drive safely. A quick note before we start. You can email me at willhicks@gmail.com. If you would like me to email you, go to facebook.com/world's toughest pod, and on the left side of the page, click World's Toughest Email. I will send you an email about once every when I feel like it. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can leave a review on iTunes, like Swan Man. Swan Man says, "Best one out there, 5 stars. Here is a guy that seems to eat, breathe, and otherwise immerse himself in the world of tough mudders. He is an enthusiastic host and easy to listen to. The results are paying off as his connections expand and he reaches out to others who are equally as enthusiastic about the world of obstacle racing. The individual stories are great, but he also has guests who have individual specialties, like the dietitian who gave real tips on going the distance. Keep it up, and we will keep listening." Thank you, Swan Man. I appreciate that. Very kind. Also, the specificity of your review was helpful. You like the show? Awesome. Why? You like the episode with a dietitian? Even better. That helps make me better, and it helps make the show better. Well done, Swan Man. Thank you. Like Swan Man, you can also help make the show better by leaving a review on iTunes. Open the Purple Podcast app on your iPhone and search for Tough Mudder. We're the first one that pops up. Click our logo, and then scroll down and click on Write a Review. I appreciate every review. We are only 4 reviews away from being the #1 reviewed OCR podcast on all of iTunes. If you haven't left a review yet, today is a good day. Lindsay Webster may win the whole thing this weekend. I'm going to say the following with zero exaggeration or hyperbole. In 2017, Lindsay Webster has had the most dominant performance of any OCR athlete, male or female, ever. If she wins World's Toughest this year, it will be an amazing capstone to an incredible year. It's time to talk with Lindsay Webster. Let's go to the phones. Lindsay Webster has had the most dominant year of any woman in obstacle course racing ever. In 2017, she has already won 2 of the 3 biggest individual races in the sport, the Spartan Race World Championship and the 15K OCR World Championship, with the 3rd, World's Toughest Mudder, still to come. She also won the Spartan Race US Series Championship and placed 2nd in the Toughest Mudder Series Championship. I'm happy to welcome Lindsay Webster to the show. Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Hey, good. Yeah, you're making me feel really special.
You are really special.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, it's been an awesome season.
World's Toughest Mudder is around the corner. How do you feel?
Feeling pretty good. Yeah, definitely have put in, the mileage. So now we're getting into taper time, and I feel like at this point my body just doesn't know how to sit still anymore, because before it was, like World Championship season, lots of like hard, fast training, and now we're into long, slow training, and now that that's over, it's just getting into like the rest time of year. So besides this 24-hour race, that'll pretty much be all the exercise that I'm going to do for the next month or so. Yeah, so I'm just kind of getting used to that concept.
How do you handle that last week antsiness before the big race?
Yeah, I don't know. Like last year, I feel like I was so ready for it, but this year, the end of the season's just really snuck up on me, and I'm like, oh wait, it's time to stop exercising and taper. And, I don't know, just trying to find other things to keep me busy, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely not going as well this year as it did last year. I keep having to find different things to keep myself occupied so that keep me from exercising.
You and Allison Ty had a great rivalry in the toughest mudder races this year. You beat her head-to-head, but she narrowly beat you for the series win.
I think she earned that series win because I'm pretty sure she did all the races. I'm actually not sure if she did the one in the UK. So maybe 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 6. But yeah, I only did 3 of them. So I beat her in the ones that I did do, but yeah, she beat me in overall because she put in the mileage, and those races are tough. So to commit to that many of them, I'd say she definitely earned it.
What's it like competing against all the strong women this year, especially the same women over and over?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I remember coming to do my first toughest mudder race, the 8-hour, and I wasn't expecting to win that one. I just kind of went out and I was going to do what I was going to do, but I think 8 hours is definitely a distance that's right up my alley. It's probably at the limits of what I can actually still race. 24 hours I'm not used to yet, so that'll be a different story. Just because it's such a slow pace and not really familiar with how to pace myself for that amount of time. But these other girls, some of them are veterans, so I'll just maybe kind of pace off them and let them show me the ropes a little bit.
Then wait till the end, dart in front of them?
Oh man, well, we'll see. We'll see how my body's doing at that point. Brian's made me a little bit of a pacing chart, so I might just work with that and see how it treats my body at some point. I might get to the point where I'm unable to run anymore, but I'm definitely going to go as long as I can. So yeah.
I saw your episode of Road to World's Toughest Mudder on Amazon, and you said your goal for this year was 80 miles. Is that still what you're looking at?
Yeah, that's definitely still my goal. So there's a prize for the females for if anybody can get 100 miles. No female's ever done it before, but Ryan seems to think that I can do it, and he's put a pacing chart together for me to hit 100 miles. So I think my plan is just to follow that until, the wheels fall off and I can't follow it anymore. So I'll give it a go. But, yeah, I definitely might get to the point where the wheels fall off. Or if they don't fall off, then I'll just keep running. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
For World's Toughest, what is your fueling strategy? What kind of food do you like?
I eat rice a lot. Generally, fueling strategy goes for World's Toughest Mudder, basically buy a ton of stuff, everything from carbs to sodium to healthy fats, and just consume whatever your body can handle. I always start out trying to eat really well, but at some point, everybody's stomach gets really upset with them, and it just becomes whatever you can keep down and whatever you feel like eating. So yeah, that's basically my plan. Buy lots of food and eat whatever I feel like.
What's your plan for a wetsuit or cold protection?
I have about 4 different wetsuits lined up. So I'm going to start with probably one that's, I think the body is 3 mils and then the arms are 1 mil and the legs are 1 mil. And start with that. And if I start to get cold, then I'll change into a warmer one.
I'm thinking about your fueling strategy still. I go to Walmart and I just buy. I'm thinking about your fueling strategy. I go to Walmart and I just buy whatever looks good, 2 days before, and then I end up hauling 75% of it out of there. I don't use it, but I think you're right. Your body kind of wants what it wants, and
exactly. Yeah, I think Tough Mudder realized that that's what people do, and so I guess last year was the year, or maybe it was the year before, that they came up with the donation bins for the remainder of the food, so that always makes me at least feel a little bit better about it, but somebody's going to end up eating it. But yeah, it's true. Usually we end up, 50% of it at least kind of goes in the donation bins, which I'd say is too bad, but somebody needs it, so that's good.
Are there any obstacles you're dreading or hoping they don't have out there?
Well, the cliff, definitely. But I know it's going to be there. So, yeah, I'm really scared of heights. So I think last year I did it once, and then it freaked me out so bad that I decided that doing the penalty, I don't know, I'd say that, I think that last year the penalty was a run, but it was literally almost, I think, over a kilometer. So it equaled out pretty well, the horror of having to do the cliff jump for me, or when you're so sore, the pain of having to run an extra kilometer when you've been running for so long. Yeah, it was pretty equal. So I think this year I'm just going to force myself to do the cliff and save the time. Yeah, not looking forward to it though.
That one time you jumped off the cliff last year, they caught it on video and they actually aired. You had like a 2 or 3 minute segment, it seemed like, of you standing there and kind of building yourself up to jumping in there. What was that like watching afterwards?
Yeah, so I had no idea that the cameraman was there. I just remember it being the volunteer, and like I don't know where the cameraman came from because I don't remember seeing anybody else there. So he snuck up on me. So I was really surprised when they aired that part, and yeah, I laughed pretty hard, just reliving the moment.
Do you have a strategy for the cliff? Are you going to just kind of take it as you get there, or are you going to try and have you gotten any tips from anybody?
I don't know. A lot of people have different strategies. People always say just like don't look down, just walk off the edge. But I don't know. I think the first time that you do it, you're going to end up looking down, just because you want to know what it is you're getting in for. But I'd say just like prepare yourself for the impact when you hit the water. It's not a pleasant feeling. It does kind of hurt because you fall such a long way when you hit the water. It's not just like jumping off, the side of a dock or something. But yeah, definitely like cross your arms over your chest and you make sure your headlamps are clipped onto you because it's going to fall off your head, and just like tense your muscles. Just prepare for the landing.
People talk about the mental part of it at the top, but you're right. When you hit the water, it hurts. It's jarring for like 5 or 10 minutes afterwards.
Yeah, it feels like you've been like hit by a car. Well, probably not that bad. I mean, I've never been hit by a car, so I can't really say. But I think just because you've been running so long and your muscles have experienced so much impact already, then you like hit the water going, whatever speed, and it's just more impact on already sore muscles.
You spent a lot of time running in the dark this year. What do you do when your mind wants to take you to those dark places in the middle of the night? How do you fight that?
The dark doesn't really bother me in the 8-hour races anyway. And I think, I don't know, like last year, but you definitely, I don't know, I got to a certain point where I got really bored during the race and I just wanted to talk to people. But I think everybody's in their zone and everybody's really bonked and like nobody, I'd try and make conversation, but nobody really wants to talk to you. So, I think one of my major issues last year was being bored, but this year my mom's actually coming out and my dad too, and I've never had them there before, so I think that'll help a little bit, just like having them in the pit area, and I'm going to make sure that they don't let me stop. That was last year I finished 18 hours out of 24, and I think, I was cold and just really sore and tired and mostly bored, and I think that was probably the main reason that I quit. So, yeah.
They're going to pit for you all night?
Yeah, they're going to pit for me all night. People say if you want to finish all 24 hours, you have to really want it. And I think last year I just was going out to try the race, but this year I do really want it. So we'll see how far it gets me.
You pitted for Ryan at World's Toughest in 2015 before running it yourself in 2016. How did you know you were ready to make the leap from regular races to 24 hours?
So I pitted for Ryan actually 3 years before I raced it myself, and it's such a cool experience still. I'm not sure whether I prefer pitting or racing. I mean, they're very different, but it's really fun to pit too. Like, you're definitely part of the action. And I think I decided to take that leap because that's the year that I really had started obstacle racing a ton myself. And, I love the sport too, and I just wasn't content to sit on the sidelines anymore that year. I really wanted to give it a shot, and I think I knew sort of what to expect from pitting to him, pitting for him, and I kind of knew, food strategies and, basically the mental highs and lows that I was going to go through, and just wanted to experience it for myself. So
this is going to be my first year working in the pit. What are some pit crew tips you could give me?
Ooh, fun. I think the main thing that I learned is just don't bother sleeping. There's the first couple of years, I think I went and had like a 1 or 2 hour nap, but really you wake up and you just end up feeling worse for it than you did before you went to bed. So, and then the last year I just stayed up all night and actually felt better than than I had when I had napped. Just keep yourself busy. I don't know. I think having somebody run out to like the midway point on the course, somewhere that's like easy to get to from the pit area, but just if somebody's like out there on course, not to give you anything because that's illegal, but like you can just tell them what it is that you need. Like, I'm going to need a new headlamp this lap or whatever, and then they run back to the pit and have it ready for you. That's like really super handy. Because sometimes you get to the pit area, you know, and you don't want to like spend a bunch of time in there because you've been trying to make up those precious seconds while you're on the course. If you don't want to waste them, but yeah, just having it ready like saves so much time. And sometimes you get to the pit area and you can't remember like what it is that you meant to tell them that you need. It's all like happens very quickly. So, and then you go out for another lap and you're like, oh crap, I really needed this one thing, and now I'm not going to be back there for another like 2 hours. So yeah.
What advice would you give somebody who's running World's Toughest for the first time?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, that was me last year. I think it really depends what your goals are and everything. Yeah, just maybe think of some things to think about in the middle of the night just to keep your brain occupied, because that's probably the main component. It's like as much mental, if not more than it is physical.
What do you think about? Do you have a mantra you repeat or a to-do list for next week when you get home? Or
man, I don't remember what I actually thought about last year. I think that's the thing. I didn't think of anything to think about. And I know Ryan does. He like plays little mind games with himself, and if he starts getting really bored, he says he counts his steps. You know, anything to keep your mind preoccupied. But, well, last year I didn't really think of anything to think about beforehand, and I just sort of spent, 18 hours thinking about my competitors and what they were doing and yada yada. And, in race mindset, but after a certain point, I had decided that, I was going to like stop and then just ran out of things to think about. Like once your mind's not in race mode anymore, you kind of need like a backup plan.
Lindsay, do you have any sponsors or anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I mean, I think that my sponsors have definitely given me the time, to be able to train properly for this opportunity and give it all I have in this race. So without my sponsors, I'm not sure I'd be able to put in the time necessary to train properly for this race. So yeah, thanks to Human N and Go Tough, Jim Campbell, and Tough Mudder especially. I'm on the pro team this year, so that's really exciting. And running those 8-hour races, I think, has given me a lot of experience, and that's going to be super handy this year when it comes to World's Toughest Mudder.
Lindsay, do you have any last thoughts on World's Toughest 2017?
No, I'm just excited. I'm dreading it a little bit more than I was last year, but I think that's just because, now I know what I'm in for, and, that the lows can be really low. And yeah, I don't know. I'm so excited for the experience. If it wasn't amazing, I wouldn't be coming back to do it again. So.
Special thanks to Lindsay Webster for appearing in this episode. Well done, Lindsay. Good luck this weekend. You are going to do great. If you're not running this year, be sure to check out the live coverage at facebook.com/toughmudderlive. Our buddy Matt B. Davis will be co-anchoring the desk. The plan is for 14 hours of live coverage. It starts at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday morning. Facebook.com/toughmudderlive. Don't forget to leave a review on iTunes, and we are not done with Elite Week. We still got more coming. Good luck this weekend.